Dom from BlackToad Studios, and today we are playing Chaos World Eaters versus Chaos Iron Warriors in a special scenario. So this is my 1750 points of World Eaters. So starting at the front here, we've got two squads of Chaos Bikers, both squads of 4. This one we've got a Power Fist and a Melter Gun. We've got a Lightning Claw and a Melter Gun. We've got a Chaos Lord here. So dual Lightning Claws, Sigil of Corruption. He has got the Talisman of Burning Blood, which is basically adding 3 to his movement through shooting, charging or standard moving. That's very nice. Behind here we have got 5 squads of 5 Berserkers. Each squad's got a Power Sword, and that is it. Finally at the back here we've got 3 Defilers, 2 standard Defilers, and this Defiler on the end there with a Power Scourge. And very last we've got a Hellbrute over here with a Plasma Cannon. So that's my 1750 points of World Eaters. Let's have a look to see what Jamie and his Iron Warriors are bringing. Right, so this is Jamie's 1750 points of Iron Warriors, and what a brutal force this looks at the moment. It's very nice. So starting at the front here, we have got 3 squads of 10 Iron Warriors. All squads have got a Melter Gun and a Plasma Gun, which is very nice. They're all mounted in Rhinos. Rhinos, of course, have got the Combi Bolters on. Moving back here, we have got a squad of 9 Chosen with 2 Melter Guns and a Plasma Gun. They are joined by a level 3 Sorcerer with a Spell Familiar. Seen down there, there he is. Very nice. We have got a Warpsmith over here. I believe he's the overall commander. He's the overall commander, and he is part of the, I think it's Fist of God formation. So that will be this Vindicator. And these 2 Chaos Predators with las cannons on the sponsons and las cannons, twin-link las cannon on the turret. We also got a Sakaran battle tank there with heavy bolter sponsons. Very nice. As I said, the Marines are mounted up in Rhinos, and so is a Chosen squad. So it's a completely mechanised army, which is perfect for this scenario. So let's have a look at the battlefield and deployment. And here we are on once Imperial planet, now a Chaos planet known as Diablo Secondus. This planet was conquered very recently by a Chaos Warband. Chaos Warband consisted of many different legions. One legion, of course, were the Iron Warriors. And as the battle comes to a close, the Warbands go off on their own agenda, each legion splitting off and going after different objectives. Of course, the Iron Warriors wanted some supplies. War pays a heavy toll upon your Warband. And as the Iron Warriors are heading up for supplies, their once familiar allies, the World Eaters, have turned against them. So in this scenario, we have got an ambush mission. We have got the Iron Warriors heading up the centre of this battlefield, and on both board edges, over there and over here, we will have World Eaters pouring in to take on their once allies in bloody melee. And the Iron Warriors, of course, are going to be fending them off the best they can. So in this mission is a kill point mission. We've got Imperial, Iron Warriors up the centre here. They have got a 6-inch deployment in the middle. The Iron Warriors can choose to flee off both of the long board edges, short board edges on either side of the battlefield. And if they do so, they cannot return, but they do deny a kill point for the World Eaters. And of course the World Eaters have just got to kill. So it's going to be a very interesting mission. So here, so far on deployment, Jamie has deployed his Iron Warriors in the centre. He has got his Vindicator at the rear here. He has got 2 Predators there. Over here we've got the Chosen with the Warpsmith, giving them the save. We've got the 3 squads of Chaos Marines, and at the front here we have got the Sakaran. So there we go, that is Iron Warrior deployment. Let's have a look to see where the World Eaters are going to deploy. So here we are, the World Eaters have deployed the ambushers are ready to assault the Iron Warriors in the middle. So over on this flank here, we've got a Defiler, 5 Berserkers. We have got another one of the Defilers, 5 Berserkers there. Up on the hill over here, we have got 4 Chaos Bikers there. So moving across to the other flank, just to let you all know, it is also night fighting. This is why the Iron Warriors didn't see it coming. We've got a squad of bikers down here with the Chaos Lord at the rear there. We've got another Defiler here among the ruins. 2 more squads of Berserkers very close along here. We've got another squad of Berserkers, and finally we have got the Hellbrute up on the hill here looking over the convoy. Now we're going to roll to see if the World Eaters go first. On a 4+, the attackers are going first. So no, the Iron Warriors have stolen the initiative and they're going to attack the World Eaters. Turn 1 movement for the Iron Warriors, and as hectic Vox messages go up, the Rhinos suddenly disembark their cargo and Iron Warrior Marines pour across the battlefield. So we've got this squad here deployed out of this Rhino here. These 2 Rhinos have still got 2 squads embarked upon them. So this squad here is disembarked, going to put some bolter rounds in to these 2 squads of Berserkers there. Back here the Chosen with the Sorcerer have disembarked from this Rhino, and they are going to put their shots against these 5 Berserkers. Back here the Warpsmith has disembarked, leaving the squad to support the 3 heavy choices in the Iron Warrior convoy. And finally at the very front here, the Sakaran's pushed up very slightly. It's going to put some shots down probably into the biker squad here. So that is it for movement. We're going to move on to psychic and shooting turn 1 for the Iron Warriors. So turn 1 psychic and shooting for the Iron Warriors, and this squad here fired shots into the Berserkers, killing all but 2. Over here it was pretty much the same again. 2 still there. We had plasma fire coming from the top hatch, and in the psychic phase the Iron Warriors got Boon of the Iron Beast off onto the Sakaran, giving it Machine Spirit. So the heavy bolter from there fired in here, and they're down to 3. Sakaran though took a heavy toll on the bikers and killed the whole squad but the Lord there. So that was not very nice for the World Eaters experience. Over here, this Predator fired its las cannons in and blew up this Defiler, blowing it to pieces, sending shrapnel everywhere, but the shrapnel wasn't enough to take any of the Berserkers down. Over here, this Predator tried to repeat the action, firing shots down the field to that Defiler, only causing 1 glancing hit against there. And finally, the Vindicator here fired a round up into the battlements there, killing off 2 of the bikers, but leaving the melter gun and the champion untouched. So there's going to be no assault for the Iron Warriors as they're loading another clip into their bolt guns. We're going to move on to turn 1 now for the World Eaters to see if they can get in and turn this battlefield red. Turn 1 movement for the World Eaters, and driven on by the nails they charge forward into the Iron Warrior lines there. Iron Warriors standing stubborn against the oncoming rage. So the Lord here, he's come tearing through the ruins here, helped with the Talisman of Blood. He's able to move 15 through there, very handy. These 2 Berserker squads have charged forwards. This squad as well, going in to avenge their fallen brothers. The Hellbrute here stumbling through the barricades and charging down the hill. Moving across the battlefield here, we have got the Defiler moving forward towards the Sakaran, and also the Rhino there. The squad of Berserkers staying close to it, and on the other side we have another Defiler pushing forwards towards the lines. across the field. We've got a squad of berserkers charging towards that predator, and finally on the far flank there we have got the two surviving bikers heading towards the Vindicator, heading straight in towards Demolish Cannon. So let's move on to turn 1 shooting for the World Eaters. Turn 1 shooting for the World Eaters, and over here this defiler fired off a battle cannon round over here, killing 4 of the Iron Warriors off. Over here the Hellbrute fired its plasma cannon down, hitting this predator and causing it to snap shoot next turn as the crew tried to react to the damage. Over here the melter gun fired, missed, so hopefully they'll be able to charge into assault and do some damage before they are wiped from this planet. This squad here threw a crack grenade in, nothing happened there. We had bolt gun shots and frag grenades getting thrown into this squad, nothing happened there. And that was about it. Lots of hull points stripped off, but no real damage. We had a crack grenade come in and strip 1 hull point off there and destroy the combi bolter. And of course, as I said here, we lost a hull point there to the Hellbrute. So we're going to move on to assault, and hopefully those chain axes are going to be very useful. So end of turn 1 assault for the World Eaters. These bikers came in, they shook and stunned the Vindicator there, so causing it not to shoot next turn. Still move of course to get out. Over here both charged in. The duel was obviously declared, the champion of the Chosen accepted. The Power Sword was cutting through the Chosen, but because of his feel no pain he survived, and the duel continues as the others now watch. Over here these 2 berserkers charged in with a Chaos Lord into the squad of Iron Warriors, slaying 5 of them in bloody melee. The Iron Warriors of course tried to fall back but were cut down by the World Eaters, and these guys are now moving in to assist their brother. The Lord now is facing up against a squad of Iron Warriors who had to emergency disembark after their Rhino was destroyed here by those 3 berserkers who came in. And finally over here this squad of berserkers charged into the predator, wrecking that, and they are now lurking in the smoke waiting for their next target. So there we are, the battlefield is looking a little bit different now at the end of turn 1 for the World Eaters. We're going to move on to turn 2 for the Iron Warriors and see if they can strike back against these blood crazy fanatics. Turn 2 movement for the Iron Warriors, and as they took the first wave of attacks from the World Eaters, they've moved up. This predator has come up to try and do something to these bikes here and maybe take a bit of damage away from the Chosen behind. This Vindicator has reversed out of combat. He cannot shoot at the moment, but he will definitely aim to be repaired as soon as possible. Over here the Warpsmith is broken free. He's going to hit the flank and protect his brothers against these 2 berserkers as they roar into combat. Moving along the battlefield, we have seen this squad who've disembarked. They're lining the bolt guns up there. This Rhino has gone to the flank to protect it from the oncoming defilers which are roaring across the field. Over here, this Rhino here has disembarked its cargo. These guys also lining up shots against the squad of berserkers, or the Chaos Lord there. We will find out. And finally, the Sicarian has spun round, targeting the defilers and hoping to take one of these beasts out of action before it's too late. So let's move on to turn 2, the Iron Warriors, psychic and shooting. And 2 psychic and shooting for the Iron Warriors, and both these squads here, this squad here disembarked and this squad here opened up and with explosive rounds took out the Chaos Lord on the bike with ease, bolter guns ripping him apart. Over here we had the Warpsmith move forwards using his mecha tendrils to take out these two here with a flamer and a melter, taking both of them out. Over here, Vindicator being able to work again after having Boon of the Iron Beast cast upon it, was able to fire down onto the Berserker squad there, wiping out most of them, just leaving the one. And finally, the only other shooting here was over here from the Sakaran, who fired up into this Defiler and was unable to do anything to it, leaving it rather angry as he charges towards the Iron Warrior lines. So that is it for Psychic and Shooting turn 2. We're going to move on to Assault, and I think the only assault we've got at the moment is over here with the Chosen. Turn to combat for the Iron Warriors, and both the champions killed one another. The World Eater getting the first blow, and as the Iron Warrior fell, he did one final blow onto the World Eater and decapitated him. So both the champions have fallen. The remaining Chosen have consolidated round to try and avoid any fire that's going to come in, or any charge coming in from the Hellbrute. So that is it for the end of turn 2 for the Iron Warriors. We're going to move on to turn 2 for the World Eaters and see if they can get any closer to the Iron Warrior lines. To movement for the World Eater forces, and this Defiler pushes up forwards towards the Iron Warrior lines. They're hoping possibly to be able to charge into combat very shortly. This Chaos Champion left by himself. He is now looking towards this Predator to aid the Defiler and take that out. The Hellbrute comes roaring down the hill here towards the Chosen, hoping to be able to charge into combat, although we are very wary of that melter gun there that might be able to take off a hull point or do even worse on the charge. Over here, the two bikers are committed to taking out this Vindicator here, and they will be putting some shots in. Moving across the battlefield, the World Eaters are few in number now, but that does not take away their ferocity, and they are charging into the Iron Warrior ranks and hoping to cut a bloody toll. Over here we have got the Defiler as well. He's facing off against the Sakaran that kind of shot at it previously, and hoping to get a charge off with fleet is a possibility. So we're going to move on to turn 2 shooting for the World Eaters and see if they can do anything to the Iron Warrior foe. Right, turn 2 shooting for the World Eaters. Over here, a bolt pistol and a frag grenade wins that squad, not doing anything there. Over here, this Berserker squad threw a crack grenade, glancing the Rhino, taking one hull point away. The Reaper autocannon fired into this squad of Chaos Marines, knocking one of those out. Over here though, the Hellbrute came in. He fired a plasma cannon. The plasma cannon hit and took 4 of the Chosen out of the conflict. The smoking remains surround the Sorcerer, and the Sorcerer is looking a bit more concerned now as the Hellbrute now looks up towards its next target. Over here, this lone champion threw a crack grenade into the Predator and was unable to do anything. And finally, over here, these two bikes once again fired into the Vindicator, but were unable to do anything to its armoured foe. So we're going to move on to turn 2 assault for the World Eaters and see if once again they can do more damage in combat than they can in shooting. So end of turn 2 assault for the World Eaters, and the battlefield on Diablo Secondus is looking very different. We've got the Vindicator has been blown up here when the World Eater bikers charged in. This champion here destroyed that Predator. Over here, the Defiler got an attack, a charge off, and was able to kill some of the Iron Warriors. The Iron Warriors, though, they did kill off the World Eaters in combat. Over here, the squad of World Eaters charged into the Rhino and blew it up. And finally over here the Defiler charged in against the Sakaran and blew that up as well. So the battlefield is looking very different. Lots of wrecks appearing across the field. Melees breaking out all over the place. Iron Warriors possibly in disarray, although they are rather disciplined. So we're going to find out how disciplined they are in turn 3 Iron Warriors. Turn 3 for the Iron Warriors, and over here the HQ element of the force is facing down this Hellbrute here, which is a threat once it gets into melee. So they're possibly going to try and take him out there. Moving across, we have got this squad of Chaos Marines facing up against the Defiler, hoping to get the melter gun and the plasma to take this beast out before he can do any more damage to the Iron Warrior ranks. And that is about it. The force is looking pretty stretched. It's far from over though. The Iron Warriors are able to do a lot of damage. Let's find out what they can do in turn 3 psychic and shooting. So turn 3 psychic and shooting for the Iron Warriors, and over here the sorcerer casted Flayer Storm onto the Hellbrute, which was here, stripping 1 hull point off. The shrapnel from the Flayer Storm ability hit the Berserker champion next to the wreck of the Predator there and decapitated him, so he is now gone as well. Then after that, the melter gun from the Mecha Tendrils on the Warpsmith fired in, and it blew up the Hellbrute, which is now gone. Moving across the battlefield, the only other shooting was a squad of Chaos Marines firing everything they had: plasma guns, melter gun, and a crack grenade into the Defiler, stripping off 2 hull points and immobilizing it, so it won't be able to assault in combat, but it's still a shooting threat. But we will see. And finally, this Rhino here fired shots from the combi bolter into the World Eaters, but was unable to do anything. So the battle is raging. There's a lot of damage getting thrown one way or another at the moment, as both forces are desperate for victory. We're going to move on to assault and see if these guys are able to do anything to the Defiler. Free assault for the Iron Warriors and this squad here, trying to avoid the claws and the power scourge there. A crack grenade was planted on the Defiler, but unable to do anything. The Defiler in return was unable to hit any of the Iron Warriors, so this battle is continuing here. We're going to move on now to turn 3 for the World Eaters to see if they're able to assist their Defiler. Free movement for the World Eaters, and here we have the squad of Berserkers coming through the wreckage here of the 2 Rhinos towards this melee here to assist the Defiler. The nails are biting and these guys want to spill some blood, so they're going to charge into combat here. Moving across the battlefield, we have got the 2 World Eater bikers charging down towards the Warpsmith to see if they can cut him. Turn 3 psychic and shooting for the World Eaters, and over here a flamer and an autocannon came into this squad here, killing off 3 of the Iron Warriors. Moving over, we had some bolt guns and a melter come in and unable to do anything to the Chaos Lord there. So we're going to move on to turn 3 assault for the World Eaters, and hopefully we can kill a few more of these sons of Portorabo. So turn 3 assault for the World Eaters. These bikes roared into combat. The champion challenged the Warpsmith. The Warpsmith of course accepted. The champion struck once with the lightning claws and wounded the Warpsmith. The Warpsmith recovered, got his power axe out and decapitated both of the bikers, sending them back to Khorne and standing there quite proudly. But behind him, the Berserkers charged into combat with the Defiler, and the Berserkers with the Defiler killed off the Iron Warriors. Defiler now slowly creeping towards the Warpsmith and the Sorcerer. And that was it for turn 3 assault. We're going to move on to turn 4 for the Iron Warriors to see where they're going to target their remaining weapons. And for movement for the Iron Warriors, and over here, seeing the Defiler charge towards them, they reverse this Rhino to form some sort of barricade, leaving the Warpsmith there with his melter gun and the Sorcerer there, who will possibly try and cast Flayer Storm once more into the World Eater vehicles. Elsewhere on the battlefield, this squad of Chaos Marines are moving up to get the killing blow onto this crippled Defiler and take it out of the conflict once and for all. And this Rhino here, one of the remaining Rhinos, has moved up, and I'm gonna think they're gonna fire some combi bolter shots into these Berserkers. But that's it for movement. Let's move on to Psychic and Shooting, turn 4. Turn 4. Psychic and Shooting for Iron Warriors, and the Sorcerer once again got Flayer Storm off there, stripping 2 hull points off this Defiler, firing the shrapnel towards the Berserkers, killing off the champion and another Berserker there. Deadly, deadly stuff. Moving across here, this squad here fired into the rear armour of the rear and side armour of the Defiler and took 1 hull point off there, leaving it very angry and distressed. There's not going to be any assault this turn, so we're going to move straight on to turn 4 for the World Eaters. For movement for the World Eaters, and the only thing that's really going on now is these Berserkers are spun round. They're hoping to take out another one of the transports there, hopefully going to cripple any potential escape for the Iron Warriors. Over here, Defiler has just shuffled round slightly, shifting over. He's aiming down his battle cannon towards the Warpsmith there, hoping to get the Rhino and the Sorcerer in a battle cannon shot. That is it. We're going to move on to turn 4 Shooting for the World Eaters, and hopefully they can spill a bit more blood. For Shooting for the World Eaters, and a mechanical roar fills the air as the Defiler fires its battle cannon. The shell landing here, wiping out the Warpsmith and the Sorcerer and destroying the combi bolter on the Rhino there. Devastating stuff for the poor Iron Warriors. Over here, a crack grenade was thrown in to the Rhino, shaking it, but that was it. We're going to move on to Assault, where these Berserkers will charge into combat. Turn 4 Assault for the World Eaters, and these two charged in, destroying one of the final Rhinos. There's 1 left on the battlefield. Over here, 1 hull point was regained from It Will Not Die on the Defiler. Still immobile, but it's less likely to be destroyed. We're going to move on to the 5th and final turn for the Iron Warriors. And 5 movement for the Iron Warriors, and this squad here are pretty committed to taking out the final Defiler, well, the Defiler on this flank here, crippled but not yet destroyed. They're going to fire everything they have, volley of bolter fire into the rear armour of the Defiler. Moving across the battlefield, the very final remaining tracked vehicle of the Iron Warriors is shooting off back towards base camp, calling for reinforcements. So that is out of reach currently for the World Eaters. We're going to move on to turn 5 Shooting for the Iron Warriors to see if they can take out this Defiler. 5 Shooting for the Iron Warriors, and a volley of explosive rounds hit the back of the Defiler, sending oil and fuel everywhere and sending it crashing to the ground. So that's another kill for the Iron Warriors. There's no assault at the moment, so we're going to move on to turn 5 for the World Eaters. 5 movement for the World Eaters, and these two scrambled through the wreckage of the Rhinos towards the remaining squad of Iron Warriors. They know it's suicide, but the nails won't stop biting. Finally, over here, the Defiler is in pursuit of the Rhino. It's looking to fire its Reaper autocannon into the rear armour and hopefully take it out, but we will see. Moving on there to turn 5 shooting for the World Eaters. Alright, turn 5 shooting for the World Eaters, and the Defiler fired off several high caliber shots into the Rhino, knocking off part of the track, but the Rhino still hobbles off, slowly leaving the battlefield. This Defiler roars out once more. Finally, over here, these Berserkers threw a frag grenade in, causing 2 wounds, the power armor protecting the Iron Warriors, and 1 bolt gun fired off into the Iron Warrior, hitting him straight in the chest and knocking him to the ground. So only 6 remain as they charge in. At the end of turn 5 assault for the World Eaters, there's laughing from 2 dying Berserkers as they charged into combat. They took out 4 Iron Warriors and then were taken down by the Chaos Champion with his power sword, and that is it. That is how the battle has ended. We're going to have a quick add up of the score and come back with the final points. So at the end of this horrible ambush, the World Eaters have the very slight advantage, with the score being 13-12 to the World Eaters. It was a very, very bloody battle. Very narrow victory for the World Eaters. And I believe the man of the match for the Iron Warriors was this Warpsmith here. Jamie, do you want to run through why you think that he deserves man of the match for you?
Just the amount of damage he ended up doing, plus enabling that formation, enabling my guys to have the saves.
Yep.
Just amazing.
Yep, very nice stuff there from the Iron Warriors. For myself, it would possibly be this Defiler here, taking out 2 HQ choices and a troop choice through pure kind of determination, taking damage very early on in the game. He's been able to come across the battlefield and hack apart everything that stands in his way. So I hope you all enjoyed this battle report. This is Don from BlackToad Studios, and I will see you next time. Take care.